What up, guys? This is Chad with my special guests,
Hi, my name is Cyryl.
and this is the first episode of Dynamic Drives. Hey, what's up, guys? Chad here. This is the very first episode of Dynamic Drives. Dynamic Drives was created to really get to know the man or lady behind the seat, and this is our first episode with my friend Cyryl. And Cyryl, just tell me briefly about yourself and your car.
Well, hi, my name is Cyryl. I'm 29 years old. I have a 2020 X3M Competition. It's very fully loaded, very fast, very highly modified.
Uh-huh. And we modified it at Dynamic, so I know how modified this thing is, and it is crazy. But I've gotten to know you quite a bit over the just through the community and the build itself, and through some mutual friends and whatnot. And your story of your life really inspired me, and I believe that really when you're driving down the road and you see someone driving a car, it's not just a person in a car, it's somebody's story.
Somebody's story.
Yeah. And yours is just really heartfelt, and you're such a genuine guy. You're a very, very nice human being. Just everybody loves you. And I wanted to capture this moment, which gave me this crazy idea to do this new thing with YouTube here. So, Cyryl, tell me. Let's go back, right? Let's go back to when Cyryl was young, because you came from Poland, right?
Yes, came from
So
Poland.
let's go back to Poland. Cyryl was born. So let's go. Just through those early years. What happened briefly, kind of with that?
Well, briefly, when I was born, my dad's mom decided to invite us to America. And well, for only 6 months.
And how old were you?
And I was like 5 years old.
Okay.
When I came to America. And we kind of like decided to see different things, the life in America, because in Poland it's a really difficult life. Here it's different. So long story short, after I believe maybe at least 3 months, I got leukemia, and the hospital decided to sponsor me, and here I am now. I got into cars.
Well, take me back to when you were here in America for the first time, 5 years old. So obviously there was something not right, and you went to the hospital and you were diagnosed with leukemia.
Yes.
And I'm sure that was I mean, you're young, so you probably really don't know what's going on, and you just know that you're sick and you're trying to get better. And what hospital were you at?
I was at Children's Memorial Hospital
Downtown Chicago.
Downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we're still here in Chicagoland area.
Yes, sir.
So that's why. Okay. So that's how you got here, and they sponsored you. They were able to obviously cure you. How long was it from start of diagnosis to remission?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months. Yes.
Wow. That's quite amazing, because this sometimes can take a long time. So then you went into remission, and so how did this affect your physicality? What happened with that?
Well, when I started going to school, I really had a difficult time in speaking in English. I had to learn, in English, read and write. I had a really hard time focusing and getting attention. So for me, it was, especially education, for me, it was really, really difficult.
And would you attribute that to how they treated the cancer? Did that?
It's kind of like when you have cancer, you kind of get set back. So it's kind of difficult for you to especially the life that you're in, and there's certain things that you can do, and you're trying to do your best, and you try to learn new things, and but it's not working out for you. So education for me, and especially when I was in school, it was difficult.
And you went to public school
I went to a public school.
in Chicago?
It was in Schiller Park, actually.
Okay.
And the one that I went was Kennedy School and then Washington School.
Okay. So this was through elementary,
Yes.
and then you were in middle school, high school, and tell me about the like your growth, because you were telling me how the cancer affected that. How did that happen?
So when you're going through chemo treatment, your growth kind of stops. So it was to a point where when they did the radiation stopped my growth. I was growing, but just little by little, and so my parents are also not they're short, so they're the same height, but it just kind of gave me a negative effect on me that I'm short, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So then, through high school, how were other kids and people towards you during this time?
Well, I tried to kind of, talk with different people. I had, especially being small and, lightweight, you have a lot of advantage, especially. You can run really fast. So that was my advantage. I could just run really quick. I was the fastest one in the class. I was the skinny one, so I could fit in different places where people couldn't,
Right.
So
Good hiding spots.
Good hiding spots.
Right.
So yeah.
That's cool though. So you never, the bullying wasn't an issue?
To be honest, there were bullying in classes. But as soon there was bullying in school, I kind of didn't want to take it in offense. So kind of funny is as soon as the people that were bullying me are now friends with me, basically.
Yeah.
Because now, you see, I was bullied because of my height. I had a really difficult speaking in English, and I got bullied most of the time. But now, the bullies that were bullying me are my friends now.
But you're such a likable guy. I don't see how somebody could be at odds with you ever. Then, obviously, so let's skip. You're a teenager. How did you get into cars?
Well, I got into cars. I had a lot of friends that had cars. My dad works on cars. The only downside is he likes to work on OEM cars. So my friends were always telling me, "Oh man, you should modify this car." And I kind of got into the cars. I got interested in it.
Right.
But the only downside was my father was always, "Don't modify cars because you can mess up something."
Right.
But you just kind of have to, try it out at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
You tried it.
And I tried it,
Right. And this was what? How old were you?
I was 18 years old.
Okay, so 18, a couple years after, did you get your driver's license right
I got
away?
my driver's license.
So what was your first car?
My first car was a Mercedes S-Class.
Okay.
It was 1997. Oh my God, that car was the best.
That was a baller car.
It was a baller car. I was driving it on the highway. I couldn't feel no bumps on the car. It was really, really nice to drive. Then I went. Then my second car was the X3, 2007. It was SUV. It was my mom's car.
BMW X3.
X3.
For everybody who doesn't know what an X3 is.
And I decided to drive. I started driving that one, and to be honest, I didn't do any mods on it. Mm-hmm. I just drove it to work from point
Probably
A.
Smart. That's not a modified car.
It is not
typically.
not a modified car, but it will take you from point A to point B.
Yeah, and it was a BMW.
No issues.
Very nice.
All right. So then I sold the car. I think I had that car for like 3 years.
Okay.
Maybe 4. Then I decided to go with a 2017 X3 half sports with M package. I didn't do any mods on it. The only mod that I did is I got the 8.8 screen and I put a 12.5 screen on it. That's the only mod that I did on the car. I think I drove that car for 5 years. I sold the car, and no, actually, the funny thing is, I was going through online, and I was like, oh wow, they came out with a X3M, and I was like, and I was looking through videos, and I literally, when I saw that car, I got sold. So
X3M, what did you find special about the 2020 X3M?
Really the thing that really I liked about the car was the exhaust when it was doing like a gargling noise. It was like blah 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 blah, and I literally, when I was watching these YouTube videos and it was making that sound, that's what I kind of got into. That was the sound. It sounded like a monster coming out of the car.
Okay. It was that sport, and it was the performance, and you were already used to an X3.
Yep.
So this fit all of your categories. And so you didn't know this at the time, but now in 2024, approaching 2025, there are so many people jumping onto the X3 bandwagon because it has the S58, which is the M3 G80, G82 engine. S58, B58 is BMW's new design.
Yep.
It comes stock with, 476 horsepower in the X3M, something of that nature. Comp is like 506, somewhere in that neighborhood. So essentially you started out around 500 horsepower, which was a far leap from your previous models, right?
Yep.
So we'll come back to the X3M, but tell me, so now you're kind of getting into the cars and things like that. What do you do for a living? What do you do from day to day?
I work at the airport.
Okay.
As a expediter. I just work in a small equipment room, or I just give out the scanners to the employees. In addition to that, as my second job, I work at Starbucks.
Starbucks. You're a brew. Do they still call it like Barista?
Barista.
Okay. All right. And how is that? Like, how often do you work there?
Well, I work as a full-timer as a expediter and a part-timer at Starbucks. Starbucks it's a really nice, fun job to work because you get to interact with people, and people sometimes come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I know you from Facebook," or "I know you from YouTube." So I had that happen before.
That's pretty neat, and you're very approachable. You like to communicate and talk to people. So, what a great deal on that, you know. So why BMW as opposed to something else, Mercedes or Audi or whatever? Why BMW?
I just love the design. I love the BMW. It was always the design, the comfort, the leather. I always was into BMWs because it was like so. It's a piece of machine that is really comfortable. You get everything is really stitched together perfectly, right. And the power.
Yeah, it's pretty much unmatched because BMW, in my opinion, it's like your sport luxury car. It's really the only SUV or sedan, like in 2000 when they came out with
grocery shopping.
You go grocery shopping. They call them the grocery getters. when they had the E60 M5 come out, right? E60 M5, cut to a photo of one of those. What a phenomenal car. That was almost like the greatest of all time at that point where you can put your family in a car and go fast.
Yes, sir.
Amazing. The way BMW does that. But interesting what you like about that. Now, let's go back to Cyryl's car. And then I want to talk about the community. Very important because of the culture and the community that surrounds not only cars, but the BMW community as well. But let's get into Cyryl's car. So what has been done to your car now? So you went from 476 horsepower to
870 wheel horsepower, 1,000 to the crank.
wow.
A lot of power, a lot of stuff that has been done to that car.
So before we get into like what's been done to the car, when you got into the car for the first time with that power underneath you, how did it feel?
I felt like, like Tom Cruise in a jet fighter, basically.
Okay.
Like I felt when I pressed and pedal to the metal, and when it put me in my seat, I was like, wow, this is crazy. That's how I would describe it. It's phenomenal, very, very fast and crazy. I can't describe it. You just have to get into the car with me and just kind of understand the power, how fast this car literally goes.
Well, if I remember correctly, when we had a conversation a while ago and you were talking about that's what you wanted to do, get into flying and being a jet pilot, right?
Yep.
Like Maverick.
I literally feel in my car like flying a jet fighter, basically.
That's
going
amazing.
Mach 10.5.
Mm-hmm. And some people might not think 870 wheel horsepower is the ultimate fast. Let me tell you, if you've been in a car with 900 wheel horsepower, so crank about 1,000,
1,000, yeah.
it's fast. That is a fast car, especially on the streets. I mean, you don't really need you don't need that at all, but it's almost hard to control at that point. So go through the list of mods, I guess a brief list of mods onto the car.
Well, we have stage 2 hybrid turbos, a CSF intake manifold with 1,000
1050s.
1050 cc port injection, flex fuel, upgraded fuel system from Precision Raceworks, carbon fiber hood. There's
A lot. It's a huge list.
It's a huge
Yeah, custom
list.
tuned. The fuel system in this car is enough to supply like Niagara Falls with water.
Yeah.
It's pouring out so much fuel, which is way more than you need right now. But it could deliver what you need into the future because these cars are just keep stepping up this platform. So it's amazing, right?
I'm just really amazed that we are pushing 850 wheel horsepower on a stock engine and a stock transmission, and how many times do we dyno the car? Like 12 times.
Yeah.
And no issues.
Yep.
So
And you've been driving the car now for close to a month.
Yep.
Somewhere around that. And the same feeling every time you get in it?
same feeling.
Yeah.
Same feeling.
Yeah.
Especially when I put that E90 fuel inside the car.
Right, yeah. So a little added extra boost, right? So let's get to like the BMW community. Like, obviously it means a lot to you to have this car. You work very, very hard for it. You have 2 jobs. You pay for this car. You pay for all these upgrades and the mods, and it just seems to me like it's who you are. It's who Cyryl is. So how do you feel involved into the car culture with this? How has the car culture embraced you, and what does it mean to you?
people are really astonished when they see this car. Every Sunday I would take it to a car meet and I would just show it off. I would just show off the mods that were being done. People ask me, what was done to the car? So I literally have to go with all of the list of the mods that were done. They love the car. People literally, when I'm driving literally on the road, they give me a thumbs up. Or they compliment me, nice car. And you know, it's a nice feeling when somebody tells you it's a nice car.
Right.
So I kind of like, you know, most of the time I drive on the road and I take my time and I just drive it. I want people to see this car that it's not just only fast, but it is nice looking. That's what, for me, it's important. I like the speed, but also the car looks like a bat out of hell, basically.
Yeah, it looks tough. You have a carbon hood, you have front carbon pieces, the rear of the car, exhaust. It has the sounds, it has the looks, and it has the power, right? So tell us like a funny story that has happened to you while driving the car. You got any funny, interesting stories?
No, not really. Most of the time when I take it to car meets, I have people coming up to me and asking what kind of mods are being done, but no, not really like funny stories, to be honest. I just like the point where people just come up to me and they're just like astonished what's done to this car.
Yeah, yeah. It's just they're amazed. Well, tell me the police story.
Yes. So a while ago, I was driving, you know, on Elgin O'Hare Expressway, and I know because I'm like 4'10", and I can understand that, you know, people, you know, I was driving on Elgin O'Hare Expressway, and I get pulled over by 3 police cars, and I thought that maybe I was speeding, but it wasn't the case. So the police officer came up to me and he's like, "Sir, do you have your driver's license and registration?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." So I gave it to him, and it's like, I asked him, "What's the reason that I got pulled over?" He's like, "Oh, well, someone said that you got pulled over because there was a little kid driving the car." And I was laughing about it because I get that a lot. I get a lot of stares. Okay. So I decided, I was like, you know, since you guys pulled me over, why not we can just go stop by to Portillo's? And I had 3 police cars escort me to Portillo's.
That's awesome. So what, like with the lights and everything?
With the lights.
Really?
Yep.
So that was like your favor of asking them because they felt bad, or?
Yeah, they felt so bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. You want to give a shout out to that police department or leave it?
No, just leave it.
Okay, that's cool. So if we had to go from there, like well, let's 2 things, because I'm dying to know what the next mods will be.
Yes.
So let's go into that.
Next year, I was planning to do a stage 2 upgraded transmission. And then I'm going to do upgraded engine. And then maybe I may go single turbo.
Okay.
Hence, you know. So,
yeah, I
but
feel you.
I'm going to take right now, I want to enjoy the car because it is fast. I love the way that I think 870 wheel horsepower is perfect for me. I think I should just enjoy the car. But my next step, I wanted to do upgraded the transmission, later on the engine, and maybe a single turbo.
Yeah, ultimate. And every year this platform just keeps pushing the needle. 2 years ago, it was really 700 horsepower. With a FEM2 a FEM2 unlock and a tune, and then we got into turbos, and then we got into the top mounts and the engine builds, and 900 to 1300. Now we have 15 to 1600 horsepower cars, and before you know it, we're going to be in GTR territory with that.
Crazy.
So if you had to choose, like you could have any car in the world, what would it be?
An X3M
An
Competition.
X3M competition. How about that?
Because I like my car. It's especially the handling. I seriously have to take it to get some drag racing and probably see if where right now I would just probably enjoy the car, and that's what's the most important thing because that car is just fast.
That's amazing, Cyryl, and your story is inspiring. I hope it inspires others. When we had a couple talks, when we were, getting to know each other and whatnot, it was just this overwhelming sense and feeling that I got just thinking about you and your story and what your car means to you, right? And sometimes people need to have a better understanding that the cars are there, like anything that we do in life that we
Part of you is part of your life. It's your design.
right.
You have to embrace your embrace everything that you've done to the car. I embrace everything because I went from from very small horsepower to very huge horsepower, and I just it's crazy what we can do during tuning and what kind of horsepower we can get out of the car. So
And you're living life to the fullest.
I live life to the fullest.
Yeah. So my point is that when you see somebody out on the road and they piss you off, or there is this hatred between this manufacturer and this manufacturer, and we're better than you, and this shop is better than this shop, and this person sucks, and this person is good. Listen, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all in the community together. If we're not in the car community, we're in life together. And we all need to be able to recognize that everybody is a person, just like yourself, and that they may have a story. Everybody has a story, but there may be things that you don't know about them. So I think we really need to understand that, and just like your story, and what it means to everybody, and what it meant to me, and it gives me a different perspective when I'm communicating with people, when I'm driving on the road. It's really opened up my mind to just enjoy my car, to enjoy my life and those around us, and create more relationships, right?
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. Anything else, Cyryl?
No, there is
That's awesome. Well,
I would say everyone enjoy life to the fullest because life is too short and you got to enjoy it. Enjoy everything. If something happens and you can't do a certain task, try something different. That is my
that's good advice.
that's my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cyryl, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing the next build, the next car, whatever it may be. But I think you hit it on the nose. You are enjoying the car right now, and you're enjoying life, and you're living life to the fullest.
Yes, sir.
Cyryl, very good, man. Very good to have you with us, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.